morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. You know, my son is visiting, and he has a Rhodesian Ridgeback, a female, who is Suka's daughter from a couple litters ago. And our male is Suka's son, which makes, and they have the same father. This female in here, her name's Arya, and Hazak right here, our male, they're brother and sister by different litters, but same mother, same father. I'm getting somewhere with that. Let's go see this racket. When my son was moving here, the neighbor said, "You want a goose?" And my wife, of course, said, "Yes." Whatevs. Anyway, back to Ridgebacks. Arya is in heat. Hazak has just gotten mature enough to be really interested. With dogs, you can breed sons to mothers, fathers to daughters, but you don't want to breed siblings, right? And so we have to keep them apart. And so they take turns in the doggy jail, 10 by 10 pen here. It's funny when we switch them because Hazak spent all night right here. Hazak means strength. Hazak spent all night laying right here, just looking at her and whining and barking every now and then. And when we switch them, we just open the gate. He runs in, Arya runs out, and we close the gate. And he's like, "Hey, wait a minute, what's going on?" But right there, 3 Ridgebacks. They're beautiful. You know, Ridgebacks are really good prepper dogs. I've said this on YouTube before about a year ago. It kind of irritates me that if you look them up on the internet, they call them the Navy SEALs of dogs. How about they call them the Special Forces of dogs? The Green Berets of dogs. But they're good dogs. They can run forever. Bred by the Boers in South Africa to be good homestead dogs. They're hounds. Also guard dogs. They're stubborn. Not a good dog for a first-time dog owner or somebody who lets their little chihuahua run all over them. They're strong. You can look it up if you're interested in them. They're awesome, awesome dogs. We really like them here. Speaking of South Africa, I was talking to my son yesterday, and he was in far western Kansas. And to his former students who watch, hi, he's here and doing well. But that is farming country. And at times, you know, when they're bringing in the crops of wheat or whatever, they need extra help. And he said a lot of their extra help is South Africans who are coming all the way over just to help on the farm. And they're also scoping out the U.S. as a potential bug out location because their S is fixing to HTF over there in South Africa for the white farmers. It's a bad situation. And so they're looking for places to go. Don't hear about that in the news, do you? No, we hear about Syrian refugees who aren't. We hear about stuff like that. This is exciting me. I got to share this with y'all. Here, look at this. I don't have bug spray on. I don't want to step in the weeds yet. Can you see this? Do you know what that is? This is the first year we've had these growing here. That is called staghorn sumac. And these berries on here will turn very bright red, deep red, and they'll actually ooze some sap coming out of them later in the summer. And when that happens, you snap off the entire head and you go hang it somewhere to dry out of the sun. And what that does, it is chock full of vitamin C. The American Indians used to harvest them, again, when they were all oozy and sappy, hang them up in their longhouse, wigwam, teepee, what have you, keep them out of the weather. And wow, it tastes like super lemonade. Matter of fact, you can take, a handful of those berries, put them in cold water, shake it, let it sit there for a little bit, and then drink it, and it tastes like lemonade. It's an amazing beverage. And the reason you want to pick them when the sap is coming out is because every time it rains on them, it leaches out more and more of that vitamin C. And so, by the end of winter, early spring, they barely taste like anything. They're kind of dry. But if you see this when you're walking through the woods, like deer hunters or stuff like that, later on this fall and winter, and again, it looks like that, a big cone, it'll be red eventually, and then it has these leaves on it. Just grab some, put them in your mouth and suck on them. You don't really eat them, you just kind of swish them around in your mouth. They're hard, and then spit them out. Kind of like sunflower seeds, I guess, except you're not cracking them. But anyway, we're stoked, and then, can you see this? Can you see these? They're all coming out. My wife picked a whole pot full of berries yesterday, and this is just the early crop. I mean, this is just like the scouts of the blackberries. And we're thinking this year we might try and make some blackberry wine. Made the watermelon wine. A lot more people liked it. I think it was a combination of the yeast I used and the amount of sugar. But it had a pretty big alcohol content. It had a kick to it. Now, somebody told me, I do not claim to be a brewer or a vintner, that a particular yeast can only produce a certain amount of alcohol. Okay, whatever. It had a kick to it. But I didn't like the taste. I thought, honestly, it tasted a little bit like rotten watermelon. That's just me. But other people liked it. Other people didn't like it. So there you go. Anyway, this is our main blackberry. This whole blackberry patch or whatever row goes all the way down there. And we keep it pruned back so it only comes out this far. And it is just laden with berries. And then we have a couple, patches here and there, little ones that we pick. But this is our main one. And so that time is a-coming. This, as long as we're here chit-chatting and I'm showing you around, this is a pallet that a mattress came on. A friend of mine, Brother Roger, you've seen him before, found a place that got rid of them. And we went and grabbed a couple. We were going to use them this winter to build like a fence all the way around our garden. We have a vision in our mind for that, and we'll eventually get to that. But I took one of those, I stained it, I set it on bricks and leveled it, and then I screwed the deck boards to it and then stained the deck boards. And when I get it picked up over there, I'll show you all that too. But it made a pretty tight little deck. We had that sitting out on right out the door where the deck is now for a couple months. And you really can't walk on those boards. They creak and crack and you're worried that your foot's going to punch through. And so I laid a big piece of an old plastic shed that exploded when a tree hit it. I had a whole wall section that I just laid on there, and it was ugly and slippery and, but it worked, right? If it's stupid but it works, it's not stupid. So we did that, and but I finally got around the other day to putting the deck boards on and staining it, and it looks nice. It looks like a little deck, that big. And so there's something for y'all. Big day today. I did my workout. My new coach, Pastor Corey from Straightway KC, has me on a 2-a-day program, and it's deceptively hard. It looks really easy when you look at it, and he told me that too. He goes, "Yeah, they start stacking up though, Pastor," and they do. And like I said, if I end up liking it, which so far I'm liking it, I'll share it with y'all. But I'm not the exercise video guru kind of guy. That takes me way outside of my comfort zone, right? So you're not going to be seeing Body by Joe anytime soon. So there's that. But I did that this morning, and then I've got trash to deal with and water to get secured, and composting toilet buckets to deal with, porch to clean up. Oh, one more thing I can show you, because today's the day of preparation, right? We don't work tomorrow, and tomorrow's Shabbat, and so to do that, we have to work twice as hard today. I want to show you the progress we've made so far. Can you see that on the guest outhouse? Let's go look. My son and I worked on that yesterday, and we're going to try and work some more on it today. But simple construction. I'm getting better at it, at this kind of construction. And the plan is, man, it smells good. It smells like new wood. Sorry for that. The plan is this part is going to be the guest outhouse when it's done. And so you'll come in here and see that bucket? It's going to be on the other wall. And there's a big hole under there. And so we'll build a little seat to go to the bathroom in right there. We'll put a mirror up, a coat hook and stuff. We're going to paint it nice, stencil it. Really, can we get a little, hey, we all pee, right? It's for women who are visiting our house, and when they have to pee, they can come over here and pee. Really, that's what it's for. Because no one really wants to use your poop bucket to pee in, trust me on that. And so it's like the guest bathroom. When you build an outhouse, the hole that's underneath it has to be totally covered in footprint. You can't have holes sticking out underneath your building because, you know, flies, odors, fumes, that kind of thing, disease, germs all come out. So the whole hole has to be covered. And so ideally for a one-holer, right, which is what this is going to be, you would bore a hole maybe twice as wide as the toilet seat, down as deep as you can go, right? But the reality is when you're using a backhoe to dig down deep, it starts getting longer, especially if you're somebody like Pastor Joe digging who doesn't know a whole lot about working a backhoe. And so our hole was basically a ditch that was about 6 feet long, 6 feet deep. And so you have to cover that whole thing. Well, I didn't need that much for the outhouse for its intended use. And so we built this over top of the deepest part of the hole. This part right here is just like an extra room that I'm going to have. And I'm going to store flammable stuff in here. You know, gasoline, oil, my lawnmower, probably my weed eater, you know, hang that in here. Just stuff like that that I don't want near the house. And when I talked about this earlier, oh, and then we're going to catch water off the roof into a container so you can wash your hands and all that stuff, and you just can't have too much water on a homestead. When I talked about storing flammable materials in there, somebody said, oh, you better post a very prominent no smoking sign or that whole thing will blow up. Fundamental misunderstanding of life here at Shofar Mountain. We don't smoke here. There's no smoking. We don't let other people smoke here. If you can't go a day without smoking, you don't want to spend a day at Shofar Mountain. I mean, it's just the bottom line. And so none of our friends smoke. So there you go. That's what I'm going to try and at least get the, the sheathing up on top of the roof today. I don't think we'll get it tar papered or shingled because, one, I would have to go buy those things and come back, and that takes, you know, a couple hours when you do that. But we'll get that done today, hopefully. And, yeah, get ready for tomorrow. And then we got big doings coming up, which I will talk about later, next week. So that's the view from my foxhole. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you all are getting out and moving your body. I got up early today. I mean, it's, what time is it? Let me look. It's not even 7 o'clock yet. And I've been up for a while. I'm trying to get up earlier. It's starting to get hot, starting this weekend. So you need to get your work done in 2 spurts, early morning, late afternoon. That's my plan. Siesta in the middle. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that right now. Okay, internal dialogue. All right. I'll probably be back on later on today when some big, heavy thought hits me. But for now, Y'all have a great day. Almost tripped. I appreciate y'all. I'll see you out there.